Be unfolding in the next 30 minutes to an hour as it continues to move to the southeast. Yes, we currently have severe thunderstorm warnings, tornado warnings, but the worst is still to come. You know it's now moving into Reynolds and Iron County, continuing to move off to the south and east. Again, a high likelihood of 70 to 100 mile per hour wind gusts, Grant. So this is something that we're going to continue to watch very closely. It appears as though we have the storm tracker into the bottom right side of the screen. Does anybody know where exactly he is right now? He's in Anna.
He's
right
in Anna.
now.
Okay.
So this is an area that
got hit hard earlier.
Absolutely, about 800 customers, 800 Ameren customers without power as he's rolling through Anna right now, and we'll continue to follow him closely as well. Looks like a lot of water on the roads. The people are making it through okay.
Yeah, Brian, I want to reiterate kind of what you were saying there. I haven't seen that very often where the Storm Prediction Center puts out a little highlighted area and they talk about likelihood of widespread 70 to 100 mile per hour winds. So let's back things up. I want to put this in perspective. That's about the strength of a strong EF0 to EF1 tornado. But imagine that tornado being about 100 miles wide. That's what we're dealing with, folks. So that's why we're not necessarily going to just focus on only tornado warnings tonight. Severe thunderstorm warnings are just as important because what Brian was mentioning earlier, you see how this tremendous bow, there is a punch in here. There is what we call a rear inflow jet of 95 knots. So that is about 100 to 110 mile per hour winds at 9,000 feet off the ground. That's what's been measured by the Springfield radar, the wind profiler that they look at. So we have 110 mile per hour winds going into the back of this storm. The rain will drive that wind down to the ground. So this heavy downpours will take that rear inflow wind and spread it out. So that's why we think at least 70, if not 100 mile per hour winds will be likely with this system as it moves across the area. We haven't seen anything like this in quite some time that's going to impact the amount of folks that it's going to impact tonight, or I should say this afternoon. We already have one line that is just tremendously powerful with a tornado warning in Pope County, tornado warning in Massac County. We have another storm that's getting very intense near Malden right now. The storm that is producing up to quarter to golf ball size hail near Marble Hill. And another storm that is blossoming right now just to the southwest of the Piedmont area. This is all going to get overtaken by this because this is moving at about 60 to 65 miles per hour, and it's going to sweep through the area over the next 3 to 4 hours. So the worst is just entering our western counties, and it's going to spread across all of the heartland for the most part. Just about everybody that can hear me right now is under the threat of significant severe weather this evening, this afternoon, and into the evening hours. We have a new severe thunderstorm warning into Livingston County and parts of Crittenden County in western Kentucky. It's a continuation of this tornado warning. I guess they're probably going with a severe thunderstorm, possible tornado, but you can see an appendage right here. So we still want to take this very seriously as we could have a possible tornado with this storm that is about to cross the Ohio River and move into parts of Kentucky. Now, we just got a new tornado warning out. Or maybe it's just an update on this. We do not see a tornado on radar, but sometimes you'll get a tornado without seeing it on radar with kind of a look like this. I want to take a look at the new tornado warning to see if it's an update to the tornado warning for Iron County and Reynolds County. Again, a tornado warning until 5 o'clock, so for about another 23 minutes. But we will have more tornado warnings issued downwind, and even if we don't, we will see more severe weather issued as we continue. Here's that severe thunderstorm warning for Livingston County and Crittenden County in Kentucky. So widespread severe weather will be occurring throughout the afternoon and into the evening hours. I want to take a look at a couple of these other storms that we're dealing with right now as well. Let's go ahead. You can see some of the storm tracks, just numerous severe storms out there right now. Let's go ahead. I'm going to back things out. I want to take a look at the storm that's developing near the Piedmont area because it's in an environment that's favorable to rapidly become severe as well. And it's out ahead of the line that's producing 70 to 100 mile per hour wind gusts. So let's kind of zoom in. We got a new severe thunderstorm warning for southern Scott County as well we'll check that here in just a second. But you can see south of Piedmont, a very intense storm that is developing right now. We'll take a look at it with the winds. It actually has a hail spike on it. Let me explain what that is. You see how this green just kind of spikes down to the south? The radar is hitting it, so there's a hail spike coming off of that. So the radar sees that, and it spikes the reflectivity a little further south than the actual storm. We'll probably see that, well, the correlation coefficient is pretty noisy, but just south of Piedmont, there's likely some dime-sized hail as that storm continues to increase and move off to the north-northeast. But it's going to be overtaken by this line of storms that is rapidly moving through the heartland. The new severe thunderstorm warning, let's take a look at that. It's near Sikeston. Guys, I don't know if we can get a look, if we can point our tower cam to the northwest in Sikeston, we can get a good look at this possibly, as this is on the northwestern side of Sikeston. We're seeing the possibility. So here is the, so we're looking at Sikeston. So that's the storm right there that is prompted the warning. Let's go back to Max 1. We don't see any indication of any tornado lowering, so that's good. And I don't see any indication of a tornado on radar either. It's more than likely just going to be for large hail and strong gusts. Yeah, there's the hail spike. There's definitely some large hail on the north side of Sikeston that's going to cross Highway 61 and Interstate. Warning out on that storm just yet, but it continues to have all this energy to the south that can feed into it. So whenever we see these storms all by themselves, we got to pay particularly close attention. And boy, that one north of New Madrid's got a little hook to it as well. But the winds do not appear all that strong, and the rotation that we were seeing earlier near Malden has weakened as well. So our main concern is we have a tornado warning in Pope and Massac counties, and actually that has been dropped now. A severe thunderstorm warning for Livingston and Crittenden County, Pope and Massac County in southern Illinois, and very strong gusty winds. Hail and gusty winds likely with southern Scott County with this storm near Sikeston. Hail up to the size of quarters, possibly moving into Marquand, and then winds up to 70 to 100 miles per hour, plus quick spin-up tornadoes. Notice these isolated cells are now caught up. This Bo Echo is racing off to the east. Brian, have you got any updates from the Weather Service on any of those storms we just talked about?
Let's see, still tracking what we have 4 severe thunderstorm warnings, all of them in effect until 5:15 p.m. They're moving the Massac and Pope County severe thunderstorm warning moving to the east at 50 miles an hour. Again, this thunderstorm moving east at 50 miles an hour. We've seen a history of large hail as this raced across southeastern Illinois and northwestern Kentucky. We've had golf ball sized hail reports from Wickliffe all the way to Paducah, and now we're tracking this area. There's possibly some very strong wind gusts in excess of 60 to 70 miles an hour now bearing down on Pope and Livingston County. Some of this will also clip Hardin County as well as it continues to move off to the east at 50 miles an hour. Also a severe thunderstorm warning in effect. Let's see, Scott and Mississippi County in southeast Missouri. This is in effect until 5:15. It's only moving east at 20 miles an hour, only at 20 miles an hour, but you can see a strong indication of some hail, possibly some tornadic rotation. We'll continue to watch that very closely. Again, moving east at 20 miles an hour. This severe thunderstorm warning in effect until 5:15. Also tracking the severe thunderstorm warning back toward Bollinger and Wayne County in southeast Missouri. Definitely not looking quite as strong as it did earlier, but we could still see some damaging wind, possibly some small hail. Just a few miles northeast of Greenville on Highway 34. This severe thunderstorm warning in effect until 5:15 as it moves east at 30 miles an hour. But as of right now, other than some hail reports, some spotty, we had some wind damage in Johnson County, Illinois, 2 miles south of Vienna. Numerous trees were reported down from strong wind. Just reports continue to just pour into the weather center here. Also the threat, Grant, the Storm Prediction Center is talking about that widespread 70 to 100 mile per hour wind gust expected across southeast Missouri in the next 1 to 2 hours. They're considering a very rare PDS severe thunderstorm watch. That's a particularly dangerous situation, severe thunderstorm watch, and it doesn't get issued a whole lot. Again, the main threat will be widespread wind gusts approaching 70 to 100 miles per hour as this line of thunderstorms barrels southeastward into southeast Missouri. So yeah, it's been an unsettled day. We know that, but the worst is still to come. Now pushing through Reynolds and Iron County, moving through Iron Ironton moving through Lesterville, Centerville, approaching Piedmont, Marquand, Fredericktown. This is your first alert. The warning hasn't reached you just yet, but they will extend this very soon. So take your precautions immediately. Get underground, get to your safe spot immediately. If you're watching this afternoon in Fredericktown, Marquand, Piedmont, Greenville, you currently have a severe thunderstorm there in Wayne County. But this line right here is about to overtake these thunderstorms that are now kind of just cruising in southeast Missouri. These two severe thunderstorms are only moving east at 20 to 30 miles an hour, while this initial line of thunderstorms is racing eastward at 60 miles an hour. So it's about to ingest these thunderstorms as it moves off to the southeast again. We're watching southeast Missouri for the threat of widespread 70 to 100 mile per hour wind gusts. That's going to do extensive tree damage. It's going to take down some power lines, and it's going to do some damage to some area rooftops and those stronger little eddies, those stronger little spin-ups, and also the threat of some isolated tornadoes there, Grant.
Brian, I was trying to track the winds here. I'm having some issues with our query tool, and but this area right here, I was checking on another source. It's still going to show me 0 gauge shear. I'm not sure why it won't register what it should be registering, but I want to point this out. In Reynolds County, I was checking on another radar source that I have over here, and it was pointing 103 mile per hour winds in the cloud right there. That's 103 mile per hour winds. I don't know if you remember a few nights or a couple of weeks ago when Brian and I were here early in the morning and we pegged 135 mile per hour winds with a tornado, and when they went and surveyed it, it was 130 mile per hour winds. So sometimes the radar does a very good job at depicting how strong the winds are. So this is a serious situation that is developing, and I do think that what Brian was saying about the particularly dangerous situation, severe thunderstorm watch, that will likely go into effect, I would think, because this is just an extreme bow echo that's going to cause widespread damaging winds. This is going to be widespread across the area. That storm we were watching near Piedmont is now severe. Remember, we showed you that hail spike. There was a good sign of hail. Let's kind of zoom in on it as well, and we're going to scope inside this to see if there's any signs of any rotation on the southern end near Mill Spring. That's where we would be seeing the possibility, and we're not seeing much. Very strong wind still, a little hint that it's rotating, and it will be rotating a bit because it is what we call a supercell thunderstorm, which means that it is rotating by definition, but the rotation just isn't strong enough right now to be warranted for a tornado. But as we look inside there, you can see a lot of yellow on the correlation coefficient, and that's in that mix category. And this time of the year, when we see mix, it's not rain and snow. That is hail that is falling across State Highway V. State Highway B, you're going to be seeing the possibility of some hail as this moves off to the northeast. But this will not last long. This storm will be ingested by the line that is rapidly moving towards the Piedmont area. Very strong gusty winds. So Piedmont, you're under a severe thunderstorm warning for this storm right here. But this is the main deal. This near the Ellington area. Very strong winds. The bow echo, the apex of the bow, if you will, right here. This is where we're going to see the strongest winds. And now we just basically have a blanket severe thunderstorm warning that has been issued for Madison County, St. Genevieve County, St. Francis County, because it's headed your way, folks. Farmington, Fredericktown, looks like you may have, let's put a line track on it. Are they still clocking it at 60 or is it now 65, Brian? It looks like it's accelerating a bit.
Looks like it's east at 50 right now.
50, okay, well, we'll do 50. I was thinking it was accelerating a little bit, but look at this. I'm going off the 50 miles per hour, and you can see this nasty bow echo that has 70 to 100 mile per hour winds with it will be moving towards Perryville in a little over 45 minutes. Marquand, you'll be there in about 30 minutes. So very strong gusty winds are likely as this continues to move across the area. And we could always see a quick spin-up tornado as well with this type of setup. But the main concern is very strong gusty winds that are moving along with this bow echo as it moves off to the east at 50 to 55 miles per hour. There will be numerous power outages. There will be lots of tree damage. There will be power poles snapped. There will probably be semis, if they're on the road, that get knocked over. There could easily be mobile homes that are pushed off their foundation. You need to be thinking about getting in a sturdy shelter, a sturdy structure. This is basically like a big, large EF0, EF1 tornado that's moving through numerous counties at once. Think about that. Think about what you would do if there was a 80-mile wide EF0 tornado headed for you. That's basically what this is. A very large, even though it's not technically a tornado, it is an area of intense winds that will impact numerous people as we head throughout the afternoon hours. Numerous folks will lose power as this system moves through. And we can kind of take a look at how many people are under the gun with this latest warning. You can see getting close to 50,000 people that are going to be impacted by that part of the storm. And that thunderstorm warning is out until 5:30. So lots of severe storms coming our way. Let's track the storms that are moving out of our area. This Bo Echo is trying to develop as well across western Kentucky. Do you remember me telling you, if you knew folks that were on Kentucky Lake, to get them off the lake? Well, look what's headed to the northern part of Kentucky Lake now. Even if it's not a severe thunderstorm, there'll be winds gusting to 50 miles per hour that could cause boats to flip. Lots of lightning. There's also going to be small hail that could be an issue. So hopefully you had time to warn all your friends that you knew that if they were out there that were trying to enjoy this weekend. That's why we issued the first alert action day, because we knew this was going to happen, and we were really concerned about what was going to happen with this cell as it continues to intensify. So let's track some of the storms that are moving towards. We got an update on the severe thunderstorm warning. Again, it's just going to be a severe thunderstorm warning that tracks this Bo Echo throughout the entire heartland as it races off to the east at 50 to 60 miles per hour. I'm going to zoom into western Kentucky real quick because I want to make sure that we're taking care of everybody that watches us in the heartland, because there's going to be a lot of warnings, a lot of people that are impacted. The worst storm right now in western Kentucky is moving into Livingston and Crittenden counties right now, near Salem, to the south of Elizabethtown, to the east of Paducah, to the north of Grand Rivers. We'll take a look inside this storm to see if we're seeing any rotation. Earlier, this storm did have strong signs of rotation and a tornado warning. No rotation indicated with this, so that's fantastic news. We are seeing indications of hail mixing in. So strong gusty winds up to 60 miles per hour, hail possibly up to the size of dimes, I would think, with that storm in Livingston County right now. Well, let's take a look at what's headed towards Kentucky Lake right now and Lake Barkley. I know these are the big recreation areas. We've got one moving across Lake Barkley. We've got another one that's moving towards Fair Dealing and moving towards Kentucky Lake shortly. Lots and lots of lightning. Take a look at this. We'll put the lightning display on, and there you go. That's why you don't want to be on the lake right now. Tremendous amount of lightning as this continues to move off to the east, and we're also seeing the possibility of some very strong gusty winds that once this moves over the northern part of Kentucky Lake. And I don't know if my family is watching right now, but Anita, I'm talking to you. We have friends that are on the lake right there. Get in touch with them. This means business. This is dangerous. You don't want to be on the lake with this type of activity that is moving through the heartland right now. So as we back up and take a look at everything, severe thunderstorm warning now for the Sikeston area. Severe thunderstorm warning being covered in a blanket severe thunderstorm and tornado warning because of this intense Bo Echo that will likely, it looks like a little boundary is forming right here, and usually these will turn and ride right along the boundary. So folks in Cape Girardeau, Perryville, Sikeston, if you're in Anna Jonesboro, if you're in Dexter, if you're in Marion, if you are in, let's say, Benton, Illinois, if you are in DuQuoin, Heron, this is headed your way. The Heron Festival going on. Italiana, this is going to be moving into that area in about an hour and 10 minutes, maybe a little sooner if it accelerates. This is an extremely serious situation with very strong winds likely that will cause trees and power lines to snap, will cause high-profile vehicles to possibly be blown off the road, will cause mobile homes to be moved off their foundation possibly. This is like one large, weak tornado that's moving through the area that can cause a significant amount of damage as it moves through the area. So Farmington, look at that wind. Look at that bow. Intense winds moving across Iron County right now and parts of Reynolds County. That is going to be headed right towards the Madison County area. Fredericktown, you are under the gun with this. That area of wind will move towards northern Bollinger County. Scopus, you're under the gun for that. Jackson, you're under the gun for the strongest winds, as well as it will eventually move into Cape Girardeau County. This will not weaken. This is going to continue throughout